absolute bloodbath on the crypto charts in the last 24 hours. The reason being the economy apparently is doing too well, and this means it's less likely for rate cuts. And when this happens, the industry panics. Wall Street's basically dump tech stocks, which are seen to be risky stocks, tech stocks, risky commodities, risk on assets, whatever, dump them all, which of course includes sentiments towards Bitcoin, crypto related companies, ETFs, etc., etc., etc. And because of that, everything dumps as well. There are some greens here, but don't be deceived, they also dumped. For instance, there is Crow, which appears to be up 3.2% in defiance, but if you look at it over the last 7 days, you can see that even Crow is deeply red at minus 15. Even A-Star is down, even though it's been up much more than that. It is down in the last day or so. Okay, so everyone is suffering today. By the way, there are some who are suffering more than others. XPL, that is called Plasma. There's a reason why it's liquidated a lot of people, which I'll talk about in a minute. So XRP, I wouldn't expect to have seen that kind of price. I wouldn't have expected it to be that low and not just be from a liquidation wick. So that's quite interesting. But again, that is simply following the sentiments that prevail. That red line there is of course Bitcoin. The blue one is XRP. As you can see, it's just following suit. If I go to the 7-day chart, there's a bit of a recovery here for XRP, but then back to following Bitcoin to do what Bitcoin is doing. And of course, Bitcoin is doing what the stocks are doing, and the stocks are doing, what the economy is doing, what, the backs and forths between, president, Fed Reserve chairman, people in Wall Street, etc., etc. So I wouldn't worry too much about this stuff because actually, to be honest with you, this year has been quite interesting. It hasn't actually been as bad as previous bull markets. In previous bull markets, we got these dips a lot more violently, a lot more frequently. Now, XRP is down nearly 10% in the last week. In the last 7 days, it's 9.1% down, but it's by no means the worst performer. If you look at the rest in the last 7 days, Ethereum has been hit pretty hard. That's down 13.3%. You have Solana absolutely hit with nearly a 20% dump. And then as you go down the list, you get Hyperliquid at 24%, 25%, stuff like that. And, as you go down the line, you'll see that XRP actually didn't do too badly. We're in fear now. Massive plummet in sentiment, which also reflects what's happening in the market. In terms of liquidations, man, I feel sorry for people who put on these crazy longs. Normally it's usually either Ethereum or Bitcoin that get the most liquidations. Sometimes Solana might make it there, but it's usually ETH or Bitcoin. But now XPL is the most liquidated in the last hour, in the last 4 hours, in the last 12 hours, with $36 million worth of XPL liquidated. These volumes are actually not as bad as I expected, to be honest with you. I expected to see larger volumes, even in the last 24 hours. Ethereum, 310 million liquidations is actually not that bad considered compared to, usual liquidations. But my point is, coins like XPL that are relatively low cap come out of nowhere and liquidate a whole bunch of people. Why? Because it's actually a new token. So as you can see, it's still up 45% in the last 7 days. But if you look at it, if I look at the maximum, you will see that this token is relatively new. It was launched recently. In fact, it looks like it was launched within the last 24 hours or so. All-time high was 10 hours ago. All-time low 19 hours ago. This means that, this data is skewed. It hasn't really had time to breathe just yet. You can see the 1-day chart, 7-day chart, 1-month chart, 1-year chart, and the maximum are all the same chart because, again, it's a brand new token. What's going on with this thing and what is it? It is redefining how money moves. It's like a brand new concept. So it's a blockchain for stable coins or whatever. I mean, a lot of people obviously put money into that, looking for a pump and dump, because when these tokens launch, a lot of people try and go in and get that first, 100x that it does in the beginning before crashing. But it looks like, it's hit them, unfortunately, and people have been wiped out before they were able to get out. So occasionally something like that would happen, which is why you have to be really, really careful with these brand new tokens and stuff. It might be a great blockchain when it does settle down eventually, who knows? But as for now, looks like some of the plans have backfired of people that put longs massive longs on XPL, hoping to exit probably by maybe a couple of days or whatever when it does the parabolic pump. But the parabolic pump never came, thanks to, well, whoever it is that dumped the market, the Fed, macro event. So I hope that wasn't one of you guys. As for me, I'm playing the dollar cost average game. So this is actually a very good day for me personally. Why? Because I know that all of this stuff is only temporary. I've been through a whole bunch of cycles now. 4 cycles I've been through now. And I've seen, the pumps and dumps, and I've seen, the corrections. And I tell you, this bull market has been the best for corrections. We haven't had as many deep corrections as frequently as we used to have them. I mean, in 2021, a 10% dip in XRP or Bitcoin, whatever, like we would have just laughed at it and just, bought the dip or whatever, You'd have people posting memes or people dipping like nachos into sauces and stuff and eating them, saying, buy the dip, buy the dip. So I still have that attitude. I see this as, the usual liquidity, which is actually something that traders pray for, by the way. When things are flat and boring, like they have been for the last month or so, then traders are not very happy. Traders want liquidity so they can, put their longs and shorts, because it is in the liquidity that you actually make profit if you're a trader. But if you're a dollar cost averager, then, this kind of opportunity is music to your ears. In the midst of all of this, while all that is going on, of course, the news hasn't stopped. XRP and XLM, shout out to Stellar holders, have snuck into an existing ETF. So effectively, this means that SEC has approved them to be in ETFs, right? So like a side loading. So Hashdex ETF portfolio update shows XRP and XLM alongside Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana. So it was already a Bitcoin and Ethereum ETF, I believe, and they've snuck in XRP, XLM, I think, and Solana as well. And this is because the SEC has used the new sort of generic listing standard, which was updated by the SEC. So now every time someone issues an ETF, they don't have to start all the way from scratch. They can just they can take advantage of this new regulation to get their ETF trading a lot faster into the market. You can see this post here by Mr. Nate. Here we go. Hashdex Nasdaq Crypto Index US ETF approved under SEC's new generic listing standard. Will now be able to own crypto assets beyond BTC and ETH. Looks like XRP, Solana, and XLM. There's the original post itself, and it kind of like has a little screenshot from the actual filing itself. Now, I think that XRP ETFs are much expected already. I think the real winner in this announcement would be Stellar, because they're kind of far down in the list of expected ETFs. So everybody already expects an XRP ETF. So an announcement like this won't really do much for the price of XRP in terms of anticipation. But for XLM, you wait. When this whole liquidation thing plays out, this whole dip or correction, liquidation, panic selling, whatever, when the smoke settles on that, we're going to see a decent pump in Stellar. So because of that, I've also gone into Stellar a little bit today on my dollar cost averaging. Not financial advice, do your own research. I probably don't have enough Stellar, so I've gone in and corrected that. Great opportunity. I'll see you guys in the next one.